Okay, so the other way that I think is also very good to, let's say, push the poses or to create a more intense or a more expressive poses is by doing what I call pulling or pushing the energies. This system is basically very similar to the ones that, or to the method or to everything that we talked in the previous classes. And it starts by the body, and it starts by feeling everything that, or the emotion or whatever the information that we want to deliver or we want to pose first in our body. And by doing that, we observe those different parts of the body, and we try to perceive where are they trying to go, where is the energy trying to take them, what are they trying to do, right? And when we try to understand or to perceive what are those different parts of the body trying to do or trying to go, we push them. We make them go even further in our poses. Let's see more clearly with this pose that I did for the pre-production. It's an anger pose. Anger is one of the four main or more. The more simple, I would say simple, though it's a very kind of it's a very intense it's a very intensive emotion, but it's one of the four main emotions that we have in our experience. Just in case you're wondering, those main four emotions are joy, sadness, anger, and fear. So when I was doing this, if I follow the process again, I bring that anger back to my body. I try to feel it. I could use past experiences from my life or something that really makes me angry in order to go back to that to that feeling. And when I do that, what I try to do is try to observe those different parts of the body that feels more anger. So, for example, the first thing that I feel is my torso. Okay, and my torso feels like it wants to go down. But if I look at the camera there, I can see that really doesn't really go down. I mean, I'm not using visually reference when I to get my pose, to decide how it's gonna be my pose creatively. What I do is I try to feel it first in my body. So that's why all this line here comes down, and that's why it's really marked in my thumbnail. As you can see, this very thick line here is because it feels like very intense, that energy of anger in my back. If I would be doing what I can see in my camera, I would be doing something like that, maybe, which is not very, let's say, pushed. It's very realistic, but that's not the point. The point is really trying to observe what are the energies and try to pull them. So if I do this pose, really trying to fill in it, what I can see is I can observe that energy of my torso going down. That's the one I want to observe. That's the one I want to really pull, bringing it down here as much as I can, right? The next thing that I when I do this pose, is my fist. My fist is like they want to really hit something. It's like actually they want to it feels like it really wants to hit the floor. It feels like kind of like a gorilla kind of thing. If I would be doing more a shot rather than just a pose, probably would be that kind of angry gorilla kind of animation, right? So that's why if I observe what my hands want to do, what are the energy of my hands and my arms, the first thing that I see is that they are trying to go up as much as they can. That's why I'm creating this angle, at least in this one, which is a very unrealistic pose. We cannot do that. But the energy of the force of that of that arm is going up. It's going up, 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 up. And then the fist feels like very intense. They're very tight together, and it feels like very charged, right, of that anger. That's why I also did them this big, right? And I guess this dynamic movement is because it feels like they want to move, they want to go and hit something, right? Lastly, is that face. That kind of opening the mouth, kind of desperate, closing, kind of like an animal, closing my eyebrows. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. I feel everything. I know those parts of the body that are telling me more about the information that I want to tell, and I try to capture where is the emotion or where is the energy going, and I push or pull those energies as much as I can. Then what I do is I try to do the same process on 3D. You know, the first step, I do this because it's easy for me to feel it and then take the notes. And to do quick sketches in 3D would take me a lot longer, right? So that's why I really like to do this kind of process or part of the or stage first rather than jump straight into 3D. And I'm quite satisfied of how it turned out. You know, there's always some certain kind of limitations that the 3D doesn't really allow to do certain things that comes from the 2D. But in general, I think it's looking pretty nice. Like the motion, the intensivity, the expressivity is there. How pushed it is there as well. So it's a good thing to also keep in mind, or instead of the mind, keep more in the body, is that feeling that made you did these first notes or sketches. So when you jump into the 3D, more or less, you're still in that kind of, you still have that memory of the emotion or whatever you are feeling in your body to do the 3D. Still, something that you finally do in the 3D is that you have to do like a layer on top that is about appealing, right? So you know that the information that you are delivering is accurate. You deliver the information that you have to deliver. Is the emotion that you have to deliver, or is the information that you have to do, and in a very appealing way, right? Because if we remember, a pose is the combination of both things, the information plus the appeal, right? So here is where let's say I take my final decisions on how the pose is going to look, and that sometimes I take those decisions based more in appealing. A good example, for example, here is what I did with the neck, bringing the neck out, as you can see. And I took this decision because if we compare it actually with the 2D, in my pose as I do it, I feel like I want to go in, like my head wants to go inside my shoulders. What I like to do is to not stick always to my previous steps. I always try to stay open to new changes, how the creativity flows every time I keep going. So for example, that's what I did with the head. I think I have another version where I was doing something more like this, but it's still, I mean, it's not that bad. I would need to, to work a little bit with this area and try to make it work better. But then I tried it to bring the neck out, and I really liked it. I really like how appealing this part here looks of the jaw and the neck. So I kept it like that. Again, because I'm not fixating myself, I'm not attaching myself to what I do in the previous stages. It is all like an add-on on top of. Every time I do like a new step, it's like I'm allowing myself to, as long as the shot doesn't change too much, I'm allowing myself to do those changes as long as it feels good creatively, right? So yeah, this is pretty much it. Pulling or pushing energies.